What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the PrizePicks Picks Show. I haven't been on since Saturday. You've had Zach the last 3 days. We're going to talk baseball today. We're going to talk PGA today, both PrizePicks and Underdog. We're going to build a 6-pick play on PrizePicks and then talk about what we can do on Underdog. I'm not totally sold on doing any PGA Underdog plays today, but very close. There are a couple options that we definitely can go to. I think the bigger takeaway is going to be the rest of the week. I think we're going to be set up to do quite well once we get a little bit more information about how the course is playing today. So we're going to get into all that. Therefore, I want to get right into this on the baseball side. I know that this is a little bit small on your screen, but we'll take you through the 5 MLB plays that I like today. We're going to make this a 6-pick play by adding 1 PGA play. So first, I'll blow this up for you guys, in fact. We've got Logan Allen, more than 24.5 fantasy points. We have him projected around 28.5, a 65% win probability. Don't really feel the need to elaborate much. We know Seattle's a great strikeout matchup. Cleveland playing some really good baseball, so the win probability is pretty high for Allen. Really like that start. Zach Littell at same number, more than 24.5 fantasy points. We have it 60%. Not quite the strikeout matchup, but what he has done is faced a lot of batters per start. So we like to look at total batters faced. We like to look at pitch count to kind of evaluate how likely a pitcher is to go deep into the game. He's consistently had a longer leash than most, which is actually unusual for Tampa. Over the last few years, they've given a lot of their pitchers some short leashes. He's got a pretty good one. So like this number here, 24.5, again, that's 60%. Then we get into the meat and potatoes, if you will, of this play. We know we love correlation. Mitch Spence, less than 17.5 outs, is one of the tool's favorite plays. You can see the 61.2% win probability. So I wanted to correlate something with that. On the Kansas City side, there weren't great options. MJ Melendez is basically the only guy, I believe, with a hit plus run plus RBI prop on PrizePicks. We had him projected around like 1.78. So he was about 48%, if I recall correctly, to get more than 1.5 hits plus run plus RBI. The correlation was strong, but it's even better here with Bobby Witt Jr. More than 9 fantasy points. 9 is a tough number to get to, but remember, Bobby Witt steals so many bases. Stolen bases are kind of the fantasy point cheat code for hitters. So on his own, he's 52.2% likely, but together they're 37.6% likely to hit because there's a 5.8 percentage point correlation boost with this Spence and Witt pairing. That's phenomenal. It's so much correlation. We love that. And then finally, one of the highest fantasy point win probabilities that I've seen all season for a hitter, Fernando Tatis Jr., more than 6.5 fantasy points. Very strong matchup here against Bryce Wilson and a hybrid bullpen game, if you will, from this Milwaukee team. 59.7%. Again, he's not at the Bobby Witt Jr. level of stolen bases, but he is a stolen base threat. 6.5, a very, very low number. So I like that. In fact, I wanted to correlate that with a less than on Bryce Wilson. All we have for Bryce Wilson is less than 3.0 strikeouts. If it was 3.5, I'd be all about it. 3.0, no thanks. So this is the 5. We've got 5 baseball plays to start. Again, that's Tatis, more than 6.5 fantasy points. Spence, less than 17.5 outs, correlated with Bobby Witt Jr., more than 9 fantasy points. Littell and Logan Allen, both more than 24.5 fantasy points. From there, we can go to the PGA side of things. On PrizePicks, we're going to go to Colin Morikawa, more than 4.5 birdies or better. The way the course is playing so far this morning, there are a few more bogeys out there than I expected, but the birdie numbers are right in line with what we expected. Of course, right now, the front nine playing 0.3 strokes under par. Historically, it's been a little bit easier than that, but we have the third hole, 35% birdie rate. The sixth, 47% birdie or better rate. The seventh is at a 26% birdie rate. Even the first hole's at 11%. The second hole's at 27%. So we're still seeing a lot of birdies on this golf course. Morikawa is such a phenomenal fit for the course. If you watched Pro v Pro, if you read any of the PGA articles, you know the thing we're looking for more than anything else at this golf course, TPC River Highlands, is driving accuracy. Colin Morikawa is number 1 in our strokes gained driving accuracy metric. So Morikawa, great fit. We know that the putter has been better. The iron play has been improved over the last few weeks. So he should be able to make a bunch of birdies. And the thing that I like about this 4.5 number with Morikawa, it's not like he has to do anything special. We're not going to be asking him to drain 30-footers. We're not going to be asking him, to dominate any holes. If he just does what he's supposed to do on each hole today, he will get to at least 5 birdies. That's why I love this number. I would put it between something like 60 and 65%. Now, what I want to do here is I want to go to Underdog. We can talk through a lot of the same plays or the same concepts. I need to. I saw this earlier. I need to go to a different Underdog thing. Okay. So, do I have this up properly now? Yes, I do. Cool. All right. So for Underdog, as you guys know, the first thing I like to do is just search birdies, and you'll see here we've got Xander at 5.0. Do we have anything from where we do not? Oh, you know what? I should also double check. There's a chance that Morikawa has just started already. So hopefully that's not the case. Let me give me one moment here. Okay, no, he doesn't start till 1:30. So we're good. We've got the Morikawa play that's solid. So he just doesn't have anything on Underdog. If he did, I would bet he'd be priced with Xander Schauffele at 5.0, which is another reason why I really like Morikawa's 4.5 over on PrizePicks. Now, I'm not a huge fan of any of these numbers here. If Xander was 4.5, if Oberg was 4.5, I'd be on those. What we can do, actually, before we go to fantasy points, we can go to bogeys, and you can see we've got these 1.5 numbers on Morikawa and Xander Schauffele. Those are intriguing. If we go back to some of these statistics on the golf course so far, a 23% bogey rate on number 1 so far. We've got a 27% bogey rate on number 2. We've got, let's see here, a 21% bogey rate on number 8, a 30% bogey rate, including an 18% double rate on number 9. That's a small sample size for most of the back 9 as well. But again, there are bogeys out there today, a little bit more than I expected. And that's kind of the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant on some of these plays, because with it being an elevated event this season, with it being a small field this season, I do think there's a chance that they're trying to make it play tougher this year than it has in years past. That's making me a little bit hesitant, but I still really like, again, that Morikawa 4.5 number. You can go, therefore, to the 1.5 bogeys or worse for either Xander or Morikawa. There are a number of guys here at 2.0. Interesting discrepancy, by the way. There are only a few guys over on PrizePicks. I think it was just Horschel and Pavone, but they're both at essentially 2.5 bogeys or worse there. So maybe you want to learn a little bit from the Underdog lines that have been set, but also notice who these players are. Russell Henley, Victor Hovland, Corey Connors, Fitz, Sung Jae, Siwoo. These guys are very strong players. A lot of them are very strong from a bogey avoidance standpoint, better than at least Pavone. So it's not an automatic just because you get the 15.5 pars or better, which is essentially 2.5 bogeys or worse on PrizePicks, and then 2.0 or 1.5 at Underdog. There is a discrepancy in talent there. So I don't think it's quite the inefficiency that you might think when just looking at the numbers themselves. Let's see here. Yeah, shout out to Zach in here. Hit that like button. Please do. Don't forget to subscribe, as Detective Gillis' $80 uniform pants always tells us. So shout out to you guys for doing the job that I should have been doing already. And yes, this is also true. Especially note this fantastic promotion over on Underdog. $250 first-time deposit offer with promo code FTN. We're talking so much more these days about Underdog, particularly with these PGA picks, because their PGA product is just infinitely better than the PrizePicks PGA product. Not just the fact that they give us more picks, but the payouts end up significantly better. In fact, the last time I think I showed you could do 3 birdie or better higher than plays and 3 bogey or worse higher than plays on Underdog, and it came out to like 31x. And if you try to do the exact same thing on PrizePicks, it's only 13x. Wild, absolutely wild discrepancy. You won't see that anywhere else in the sports industry, whether it's DFS, sports betting. You're not going to see that kind of discrepancy anywhere. We see it between the Underdog and PrizePicks PGA product. So make sure you are an Underdog if you want to be playing PGA with us. We've had a lot of success with. In fact, the US Open was fantastic. I think I added like $3,000 to the account or something just on PGA alone. So it's been a lot of fun. We're going to continue having fun with it. Speaking of, the one angle that I do like this week today on Underdog goes to the fantasy points. And what I'm trying to do here, so again, remember, we have a little bit more uncertainty than usual in terms of what the baseline fantasy point is going to be. If we use historical statistics on the golf course, what's the par rate, what's the birdie rate, eagle rate, double bogey rate, etc., and we exclude all bonuses. So there's a 1-point bonus for back-to-back birdies. There's a 3-point bonus for a bogey-free round, things of that nature. If you exclude the bonuses, the average scoring per round is about 24.75 fantasy points. This is obviously a stronger field than those historical numbers suggest, and we can go to particularly good players. So there are numbers that are, I think, very much attainable. But again, there's a lot of uncertainty on what the number should be for everybody. So what I want to do is I want to find two guys who are priced similarly, where one guy is clearly better than the other, and then I'll take one higher, one lower, boost the payout. That's the only strategy that I like on Underdog today. I do think we have one of those, though, and I'm hoping I was a little bit worried. So the guy that I wanted to go lower on has been taken off the board. Matthew Pavone was at 31.55, which is the exact same as Russell Henley. Russell Henley, a significantly better player, projected significantly better for us. In fact, the discrepancy is pretty wild. We have Pavone at negative 0.73 expected strokes gained per round. Russell Henley at 0.63 expected strokes gained per round. So about a 1.5 stroke difference between the two, almost 1.5 stroke, not quite. And yet their fantasy point projections were the exact same. We don't have that anymore. Pavone has either been taken down or started his round. But I do think 31.55 is still low for Henley. You could go higher on him, lower on Fitzpatrick. Henley projected better than Fitzpatrick in our numbers, yet Fitzpatrick has the higher fantasy point projection. You can see, by the way, look what this payout does. Instead of the standard 3.0x, we get 3.36x. I don't want a 2-pick play, but you can add a 3rd pick here. You can end up building a 6th pick, something along those lines. Either way, that would work. You can mix in any of our favorite baseball props here on Underdog. I think a lot of them are going to be priced similarly. So that's my thought on the PGA side. We will learn today a lot of great information. What should the baseline, birdie or better line be? What should the baseline bogey rate be? What should the baseline fantasy point projection be? Once we have that information kind of dialed in a little bit more, it'll be easier for us to find plays that we love. But for now, I do think this is a strong pair right here. Russell Henley more than 31.55 fantasy points with Matt Fitzpatrick lower than 33.15 fantasy points. Again, don't play that as a 2-pick play. We don't want to do 2-pick plays on Underdog. 3 picks or 6 picks. The 3-pick play should be standard, not flexed. With the 6th pick, you don't have a choice. You have to flex it. But that's the way I'm approaching the day. Any questions, you can quickly drop those in the chat. Otherwise, we'll call it a show. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, as always, Friday. We've got more baseball games tomorrow, so hopefully we'll have even more great picks there. Zach will be in the Discord. I don't know if there are any WNBA games today, but he'll be in there tossing WNBA plays once he's got them, whether that's making a 6-pick play today. Maybe it's just having a bunch of options tomorrow, whatever the case is. We'll be in the Pick'em Discord. We'll see you guys there. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you tomorrow.